Hello Pisces, my name is Paul and this is Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask that you connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And if there is anything that you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. All right. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And to begin with the High Priestess, this is a very important message. I think that this is showing a readiness, I think, in your life. I think you are open and receptive to whatever the divine energy is that's coming into your life right now. Okay, this is a very, very positive card. Let's put that into some context. Okay, let's see what else might be going on. Five of Pentacles. I think there's a lot of changes in your life right now. A lot of things are happening in the physical world around you. Both globally and locally, right? I think we're striving for balance, but I think we also feel that there's this, we're growing, we're expanding, we're moving into a new type of energy in our lives. And we have confidence, and look at that, 10 of Swords, interesting. Oh, and a 10 of Pentacles, a lot of really wonderful energy today. Really beautiful cards. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. One random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. We'll put Mr. Tao, the yin-yang duck, right there on top. Now, we're not going to look at that card, Pisces, until the very end of the reading, okay? But we are doing something different. I want you to, at any point during the reading, try to get a feeling of what that card is. Leave your prediction in the comment section down below. Okay. I want to see if we can, collectively raise our vibrations, if we can collectively tap into Source and start discerning this mystery card together. Yeah. Sort of a interactive exercise here. But first, let's take a look around the room. We have major, 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 and major. And all of these major cards kind of show this idea of letting something into our lives, right, with this High Priestess, receiving the communication, receiving the intuition, the instruction, the blessing, the gift that we know we are expecting, right? I mean, I think that we, with the Jupiter energy here, with this Wheel of Fortune, we can feel things happening, right? And we're embracing it, we're striving for balance, and we are going to have wonderful success and wealth, both, I think, financially, physically, and spiritually. And this is really something else. This is nice. So we have all these major arcana cards. We've got some fire energy. What we don't have is any water energy, and that's kind of where we need the balance down here with the Art or Temperance card, showing that with all of this active energy, we need a little bit of the water to kind of, and this is probably what the High Priestess is bringing us, is that kind of intuitive, healing, restorative water, right? We've got a little bit of air energy, which I like. I like having this air energy here because this is us staying level-headed, staying rational. We'll get to that card. And of course, we have our earth energies here, right? This is a really cool progression of earth energy too, because it's got a 5 of Pentacles. There's disruption, there's turmoil, there's worry, right? There's difficulty, things are moving, things are changing. But if we can stay steady and pay attention and focus on the details, focus on what we have to do, be efficient, we'll reach our success. And then if we don't go kind of crazy with it, right, with the Princess of Wands here, if we stay under control a little bit and don't do anything too risky, we will continue this success indefinitely. This is really a nice reading here. A lot of good cards. We'll start with the 5 of Pentacles, of course. In your physical environment, you may be experiencing a lot of turmoil, some upset, right? Some disruption. And this could be health. It could be an injury or an illness maybe that's kind of been lingering, or you're just getting out of it. With the High Priestess here as well, I'm showing an increase, right? So I'm showing that there is, you may have experienced an increase of this kind of disruption, right? Things seem to be on a trajectory of worsening, right? I think that's turning around now. I think that we're over the hump, so to speak, right? And it's kind of all just coasting from here. Not quite, but, you know, it's a lot better than it was, I think. I think there was a lot of upset, of discord, of disorder in the physical realm, right? This could be something financial, it could be health, it could be fitness, you know, maybe an injury or an illness the worst is over, I think, with this one. So we're feeling this increase now, and we're feeling this influx of divine spiritual energy, which as we look to the Wheel of Fortune in the past, I think that this is kind of showing us the cyclic nature of things, right? If things were pretty bad before, I think now the wheel is starting to, it never stops. It continues to turn. I think we're going to find ourselves back on top of this Wheel of Fortune again, okay? And all of the things that come with that. So there is this idea with the High Priestess of increase, of things, you know, the waxing and the waning. This card is related to the moon. We know that whenever there is a new moon and things are dark, we can expect the first sliver of light, right? And the light grows and grows and grows. I think right now also there's this, there's the two sides of you right now, right? Again, with this kind of moon energy. There is the side of you that perhaps wants companionship, right? That wants more interaction with other people on a deeper level as a way, I think, to kind of foster growth, right? Someone to stimulate you intellectually, you know, physically and emotionally, spiritually speaking too. But someone that can challenge us a little bit, right? So that we can grow into this energy that we know is here, right? We can feel it, and we just need to kind of, we need to open ourselves up to it, like this card is kind of showing, and embrace it and allow it to come into us. At the same time, I feel like you have a lot of confidence and pride. See, we've got this Six of Wands up here too. As much as I feel like you're ready for companionship, you're ready to have this, you know, like what we see here with the Art or Temperance card, for instance. This is kind of two opposites joining together. This is you finding the exact complement to your nature that can help us grow, right? That can stimulate us. It's putting ourselves in a type of partnership or relationship that isn't challenging in the sense that it is a lot of fighting or arguing or like tension or friction or anything, but it's somebody that inspires us. It's connecting with people that make us want to learn and grow and do better and become who we are, right? So it's not an argument necessarily. It is a partnership that stimulates you in the right way, let's say, okay? And I feel like this is something that you desire, something that you know is going to be good for you, but like I said, at the same time, we've got the Six of Wands up here. This is showing me that you kind of have this confidence and this pride where you really just want to go it alone, right? You kind of feel like you want to handle your problems on your own, do things your own way, right? So there's a little bit of a split here, and this is something I think that we have to reconcile this. And perhaps these energies here, and we do have a lot of major arcana here, which I think is the dominating influence. It's the stronger force here, right? This major arcana can easily overpower the, see, we have 3 and 3, and if we were picking teams here, if this was basketball, I have my bet. We've got the all-stars here, and then we've got just some kind of neighborhood basketball players over there. I know who I would put my money on, although it's not guaranteed, right? We could be quite surprised by kind of how potent the personality or the ego is when confronted with these major arcana forces. This is something that I think is taking place in your life, and I think you feel it strongly, but there's still that little bit of resistance to it, right? So the Ten of Swords here, I think this is us in some way giving up the fight, just saying, I surrender to this divine force, right, to this spiritual energy that's in my life. And I'm going to allow myself to be guided by the intuition, by the spiritual energy. See, these two, I mean, the Ten of Swords is intensely rational, right? Thinking and rationalizing and just kind of analyzing to the point that the system breaks down. It's just too much data that the machine starts smoking and you hear some grinding of the gears and all that stuff, and, you know, the circuits melt. As opposed to the more fluid and intuitive, lunar, watery kind of high priestess energy, right? The subtle perception. So these two are kind of opposed to each other, right? And then, of course, we've got these two that are also opposed to each other. The Wheel of Fortune and the Five of Pentacles, which is worry. See, we have, and we're going to talk about the same thing as we pair up the last two cards too. So the Path of the Dove is very much about this duality, this kind of opposition. I got the cards all messed up here. Let's put this on top and these down here. Okay, so we see the rational mind, the intellect, the psyche, trying to make sense of things, and it kind of is, it's at its wit's end, so to speak, with the 10 here. Because that is the final card. This is the last expression of the air energy. It's the last ditch effort to hold on to kind of some kind of rational control here, right? And when it lets loose, then we can experience this, which is beyond the rational mind, right? It's intuitive. It's a different function altogether. And thinking and intuiting, these two functions conflict, right? And then, of course, like I said, we've got the Five of Pentacles, we've got worry, and we've got no worries, right, with the Wheel of Fortune. So there's an opposition here too, or a juxtaposition, right? We're worried about things because things in the physical world change. We don't always like that, right? But it is through changes, through things coming and going and growing and decaying. That is what extends our universe forward in time and space, right? That's what keeps things moving. It's the idea that it's through change that we have any kind of stability in the universe. And it's hard to see that in our lives sometimes, right? It's on a macrocosmic scale, maybe it's a little easier to say, well, yeah, of course, you know, you got to have stars that explode to kind of to feed other star systems and nebula and whatever. But it's difficult on a microcosmic level to see how things changing and things going away from us or declining is sustaining anything, right? It's hard to get a grasp on that. I think that's what the rational mind tries to do with this Ten of Swords. Eventually we have to just let go of that effort and try to feel it intuitively. Okay, so we've got this worry. Things are changing. We don't see the reason why there should be struggles in the world. But the Wheel of Fortune kind of says, you know, hey, that's Dallas, right? This is kind of the no worries vibe, right? That the wheel is just turning. That everything that takes place is just part of the wheel going round and round. It's not really a circle, though. It's a spiral, right? It's not a wheel that just spins like on a dynamo, right? It's It's actually wheels on the ground. It's moving. We're going somewhere, right? And in order to make progress, well, you've got to burn fuel, right? I mean, there's wear and tear on the part. You can't buy a car and try to keep it pristine forever, right? You can't just kind of make it immortal. You're going to drive it. You need to get from over here to way over here. Well, that's going to essentially injure the car. It's going to put wear and tear on the joints. It's going to, you're going to dirty up the oil or whatever. There's going to be emissions, unless it's an electric car or whatever. But even then, there's parts that wear out, right? There's no point in keeping a car absolutely immortal and immaculate if it's actually, you can freeze it in time, like you say you restore a classic car, then you don't really want to drive it, right? But that's beside the point. The Wheel of Fortune is that the understanding of that process, almost the surrendering to that process, the knowing that we are part of this, right? The kind of the acceptance, because there is a Jupiter energy in the Wheel of Fortune, right? It's ruled by the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter is like that divine father figure kind of energy, right? And it's almost an idea that we trust in the universe. We trust that things are as they should be, right? On that spiritual soul kind of level. It doesn't take away from the fact that there are difficulties, and yeah, we're going to have to use our fire and our air to fix these difficulties, to try to alleviate suffering, to stabilize whatever this is. It's part of our nature to work the problem, right? These spiritual energy cards here are not saying that you should just sit back, kick your feet up, and don't do anything. It's not a call to inaction. It's a call maybe to the more spontaneous, harmonious action rather than trying to resist, right? Trying to, swim against the current kind of thing, right? Trying to push the river, I think, as they say. And then, of course, we've got the same kind of duality here with the fire energy. This is the Art or Temperance card. This is showing the need of the other side, of whatever the other side is we're talking about. I think there's a desire here for some companionship, but we've got just this kind of duality, too, between the rational human microcosm and the macrocosm. That is, I have it underneath because I feel like it is the spiritual world, the macrocosm itself, that is supporting our daily lives here, right? So we've got this very expansive, confident Six of Wands. This is a feeling that we can do everything. This is victory. This is us. This is a Jupiter in Leo kind of energy. And this is feeling that we can conquer. And this is almost an invincible feeling here, right? That we don't need anything else. The Art or Temperance card is saying that we do. That if there is a leader that goes unopposed, there's no growth. There's no progress. It's just whatever they want, they get, right? There needs to be opposition. There needs to be a little bit of friction. And again, with a partnership, it's not that it's just going to be kind of arguing all the time. No, but it's someone that can stimulate you to do better, to grow, to continue your spiritual journey of evolution and growth and expansion, right? Of awareness, but also in your physical life too. So I like that we have this juxtaposition here, okay? And now we're going to take this idea and we're going to move to the path of the serpent. We start with the sun in Virgo. We start with really understanding, having the clarity, having the perception of really what we need to do step by step in a very careful, meticulous, thoughtful manner. How to resolve that five, because really it's all about the Five of Pentacles on a microcosmic scale. In your daily life, there is struggle, right? And we've got to be able to confront these difficulties in a way that is calm, in a way that is constructive and thoughtful, careful, meticulous, pay attention to the details, right? This is knowing how to grow the garden. This might be looked at as, this is us kind of tilling the soil, right? Getting it prepared, churning it up, mixing all the nutrients and all the old roots and stuff together. And now we're understanding that this is a necessary step when we're growing something, right? When we're planting something. And I know we're moving into fall and winter here in the northern hemisphere, and so it's we're kind of I think we're done with that process now. But there's this idea that we can carry through into our life generally, of kind of understanding the past, I guess, right? Even though I think this is a future, or this is a present situation, this is kind of where we're headed with it. There's this, and that's probably part of this high priestess intuitive energy, understanding the reason. We don't have to like it, but we kind of understand that this is setting up something much, much different over here, right? So we have to try to see what is happening now, and how is it setting up an opportunity for us to really grow this wonderful garden, right? Whatever your garden is. The Eight of Pentacles is us knowing how to do that and being patient, putting in the work, being careful with it, not trying to rush it, not just smashing it because we're frustrated, just being calm and knowing that there was a reason for this, and we're seizing that opportunity, and we're doing so in a very patient, careful way, because what we really want is this best life card. We want the Ten of Pentacles, and this is in the position of your environment. This is kind of the end result of the garden that we're growing. Well, we've got to till the soil, and we've got to be careful, and we've got to do the right amount of sunlight, the right amount of water. And see, there isn't any water in the reading, so it could be that's what we need, that we want that kind of connection. We want that deeper emotional bond with somebody. Maybe this is kind of a situation where we're looking for some more companionship, or we're looking to connect on a deeper level with the people that are in our lives already, right? And we're after our Ten of Pentacles. This is the picture of your best life. And when we get this card, we ask the question, what does your best life look like? If I asked you to draw a picture of your best life, what would it look like? This is the card of wealth, right? But that means different things to different people. Maybe it means having that immaculate car that you never drive, right? Maybe this is having the right kind of people in your life, your pets, your plants, right? Feeling connected, feeling that you are part of something greater, right? This could mean many different things. And that's why I always ask the question, what does it look like? If you had to draw it, maybe you should draw it. One day when you've got some time, get out a sheet of paper, get out a pencil, and just do a little sketch, right? What does that look like? Who's in this picture? What's in this picture? Where are you? Are you in the picture? Right? What do you look like in this picture? This is what we're trying to manifest. And this is not just finances, because the earth energy, the earth cards, the pentacles, the earth element, must contain within it the cups, the swords even, the wands, right? All of the other elements are contained in the earth element, which is the vessel, right? It is the shell of the walnut or whatever, right? And so for this not to be empty, we have to understand on those other levels what we want. What do we want creatively? What do we want emotionally? What do we want intellectually, or in terms of our communication, our sharing of information, right? What does our mind want? What does our heart want? What does our body want too? But what does our spirit want? Right? And all of that has to be factored into this sketch or drawing that you make. Maybe you just make a list, I don't know. I'm not very good at drawing. So we don't want this to be just empty shells here, right? And I think, first of all, we do need some of that water energy. We see that there's a need for it here. In order to temper some of our confidence here, we need a little bit of that water energy. Right, we need a little bit of that. The next card here this is pretty straightforward. This is a Princess of Wands. This is kind of what can happen if this Six of Wands goes unchecked. Then there's hubris. Then there's this idea that we can just go dancing around the tiger and not get bit. Now, sometimes it's a good idea you might have to kind of tiptoe around the tiger and hope it doesn't wake up. But if you go dancing and you have, a bullhorn or like a noisemakers or whatever, if there's fireworks, tiger might wake up. Your potential is to be a little bit too risky, a little bit too foolish. But this card's important because there is this need for us not to take ourselves so seriously that we, that we don't have fun, but that we restrict this confidence too much, and then we fail to take any kind of risks. That we always do what is safe, right? Emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, physically as well, right? Because that limits growth, and that, I think, is kind of the opposite of what these major arcana cards are talking about. So this is the card we have to be careful with. Right? We have to be careful with this one. And then, to get to this Sun card, to get to this solar energy. This is at the end of the path of the serpent. It is the sun. And this is the realization of not only the physical success, going from a 5 of Pentacles to the 8 to the 10 of Pentacles, but this is success and wealth on the spiritual plane as well. Right? This is the sun that is basically this, right? It has everything that it needs within it. This contains all of the other elements. The sun contains all of the elements that it needs, so that it can shine this way, right? It has to have that fuel. It has to have all of those whatever elements within it, with a nuclear fusion or whatever, so that it can shine, so that it can be itself, right? So this is a card of, it's a card of restoration of health, if there is something like that going on. It's the achievement of success on every level, right? This is the physical sun, but it's also a representative of that spiritual sun. So this is kind of a promise here at the end of the path of the serpent that says you can have this complete, this is freedom. This is you knowing your place in the world, in the universe. This is you feeling whole, feeling radiant. And this has got to be some of the best energy in the tarot. And see, there is still a confidence here. See, we have the sun. The sun rules the sign of Leo, right? And we've got our Leo energy over here. Everybody has, I know this is a Pisces reading, but we all have every zodiac sign within us, right, in our energy. All of the signs are in your chart. You just may not have any, planets or major bodies in those signs, but you still have Leo somewhere in your chart. In some house, there is a Leo energy, right? And we have the sun that rules the sign of Leo. And this is our ability to be confident and assertive, to feel invincible, but yet still be rational, right? This is the perfect balance. This is the ability to withstand the pressures coming from outside by exerting just enough pressure from within us, right? Because what is a star, but it's a ball of fire and of nuclear whatever stuff that's expanding outwards, right? The internal pressures, our own force, our own exertion is expanding us, right? But then we also have the pressures from outside, the gravity kind of thing, that's keeping us, that's trying to squish us. So a star is kind of the burning just enough fuel that there's that state of equilibrium, right? So it's kind of this idea of knowing how hot to burn at any given moment, right? And knowing when to yield, right? It's the perfect proportion. It's kind of the balance that we're seeking here with this one. And I think for this we need a little bit of water energy. I think that's the only thing that's really missing, although maybe because we have both the High Priestess and the Temperance card, maybe this is taking the place of the water. I would wonder if our mystery card is going to be a little bit of water here. This is the point of the reading, though, where I'm going to ask you to try to predict this card with me, right? Tap into your intuition. Let's raise our vibrations. Put your answer in the comments section. And I'll switch the camera. Try to connect with these energies. And let's see what we can come up with. You can pause the video if you want, if you need more time. I'm going to venture a guess that it's water energy, and I don't know which form of water energy. Maybe, well, a 6 would be just kind of the sweet spot here, but I don't know that it's going to be a 6. Let's take a look. Yeah. No. No, it's more fire energy. It's a 2 of Wands. And this is kind of interesting because I feel like there is a choice here that needs to be made, and it's a fundamental choice. It's not just like the 1,000 choices that we make every day, every second of our life, right? There's so many choices. This is a fundamental choice of your life trajectory, right? This is, I think there's a big question in your life right now of where are you headed? Maybe it has to do with this. Maybe it has to do with the picture of your best life. Are you on the path to your best life? This is what's coming in your life for you. This is what's next for you. Best life. Is there something that you need to fundamentally change in order to be more in line with that path? Right? Because right now we've got this 5 of Pentacles, so I'm wondering if we're kind of at odds with something. If there's something that is kind of throwing us out of phase with the spiritual energy. Right? Is there something that we need to realign ourselves with to make this a smoother process? Okay. Now we are going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, click either above or below in the video description. New readings for Pisces every Monday and Thursday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. Pisces, I want you to remember that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we are all in this together.